These are the most disturbing things ever found in the woods. Wires. The Rampant Range is a trail system in Colorado. It has amazing views and is very popular with bikers. But over the past few years, a disturbing trend has emerged, with people setting up wires between trees at neck height, in an effort to seriously injure bikers using the trail. In 2019, a biker made a post about this on Facebook, explaining the trend, and showing photos of wires he had personally discovered. The man also explained that one of his high school friends had lost his life after riding into a similar wire on a trail. Other bikers quickly commented saying they had seen similar wires, while others said placing these wires should be categorized as attempted murder, and said police should do more to catch whoever's doing this. In 2018, a few years before that post was made, two bikers uploaded a video to YouTube showing them riding into a very similar wire. Thankfully, they were okay, but had they not noticed it and slowed down, it could have been deadly. It seems some people want to harm bikers for some reason. Some theorize they may be people living nearby the trail, fed up with the sound of loud bikes near their homes. Hopefully police can find who's doing this, because various bikers and snowmobilers have lost their lives to these wires. But as of yet, no one behind these wires has ever been caught. Trail cameras. In May of 2016, a man is walking in the woods in Kentucky. That's when he notices something on the ground, just off the trail path. So he walks over to it and realizes it's a trail camera. Trail cameras are outdoor motion-activated cameras, normally used by hunters to track wildlife in the woods. They're very common to find in the forest, so the man didn't find it strange. However, this trail camera had no memory card or batteries, so the man decided to take it with him. What he didn't know was, this would be the biggest mistake of his life. As soon as the man put batteries in the camera, it exploded. It turned out the trail camera had been rigged with explosives, set to go off as soon as batteries were installed. The explosion injured the man's stomach and blew off some of his fingers. Police immediately began to investigate and traced the camera back to a man named Mark Sawoff. Police searched Mark's home and inside found explosive materials, as well as a note that read, "Broken camera for a broken soul." Soon more reports of exploding trail cameras came flooding in, causing police to realize the terrifying truth. Mark had left dozens of these potentially deadly trail cameras all over the woods.
That's the sound of authorities safely detonating bomb-making materials discovered Wednesday in Harlan.
So, police brought Mark back out into the woods and told him to show them where he'd put the other explosive trail cameras. But instead of doing this, Mark would lunge at one of the cops' pistols, resulting in Mark being fatally shot. Mark never revealed where the remaining rigged trail cameras were, but police believe there are many others located in that Kentucky woods, just waiting to be discovered by some very unlucky person. Breathing forest. In October 2023, a Scottish man named David had been walking his dog in the woods when he saw something that gave him chills. The ground beneath him appeared to be breathing. When the video was uploaded, many debated what was going on. It's most likely that extreme wind was causing this. The trees are effectively being blown over by the wind, causing the top layer of soil to be lifted with it. The tree's roots are likely tangled with other nearby roots, meaning the top layer of soil and grass is holding on. It's scary how David's dog could easily be swallowed up by the ground. And while it does seem like the mystery was solved, it's still a very creepy and potentially dangerous phenomena. Screams. In December 2014, a man heard screaming behind his house at 2 a.m. The man's house backs onto a forest, and the screams were coming from deep inside the woods. Other than daddy, it's hard to make out what the child is screaming, but you can also hear an adult voice saying, "Where are you?" making this footage even more disturbing. The man who recorded this said after this he checked the news every day, hoping to find some explanation for what he heard, but he never did. But the fact this took place at 2 a.m. in a freezing woods means the man might have recorded something very disturbing going on. Some people in the comments of this video had another theory, claiming the entire thing may have been a setup for a kidnapping, as crying for help in a remote area is a common kidnapping tactic. But whatever's going on here, we can only hope the child in the video is okay. Christopher Knight. In 1986, 19-year-old Christopher Knight ran away from his home in Maine to live in the woods, doing so for no apparent reason. To survive, Christopher would steal from houses and campsites in the area, stealing things like food, clothing, camping gear, propane tanks, batteries, and other things to survive in the woods. Locals soon became aware of what Christopher was doing, but Christopher was very careful about never being found. Despite winters in the woods being minus 12 degrees Celsius, Christopher would never start any fires, instead wearing many sleeping bags, so as to not reveal where he was in the woods. But as the years went on, surveillance cameras became more popular, and soon Christopher's burglaries would be caught on camera many times. On the night of April 4th, 2013, Christopher unknowingly triggered a surveillance sensor while stealing food from a camp. Police were alerted and showed up to the camp. Christopher was still there, and was arrested by police, which was the first human contact he'd had in 27 years. Police had finally caught Christopher, who was behind literally thousands of burglaries in the area. Eventually, Christopher took police to his camp, which was filled with decades worth of stolen items. Christopher was sentenced to 7 months in jail and 3 years of probation. Today, Christopher no longer lives in the woods, instead working in an auto shop and living in a small house in rural Maine. Traps. In April of 2012, US Forest Service officer James Schoeffler was conducting a routine patrol of a popular hiking trail in a Utah forest. That's when he noticed a tripwire strung between 2 trees. He followed the wire and was led to this, a ball made of rocks and sharpened sticks, which was set to fall when the tripwire was hit. This was disturbing enough, but he soon found another trap on the same trail. A tripwire was pulled tight, which would cause people to trip onto this bed of sharpened sticks. Police were immediately called. They began interviewing hikers in the area, which led police to 2 men, Benjamin Rutkowski and Kai Christensen. The men claimed the traps had been set for animals, but police did not believe this, as the traps were clearly made to target people, and were literally set on a popular hiking trail. The pair pleaded guilty to reckless endangerment, and were sentenced to 30 days in jail, and 1 year of probation. Ivan Klucherev. In 2017, Ivan Klucherev from Russia went missing. He had gone on a solo hike, but never returned home. His family reported him missing to the police, who began searching the woodland, but police found no trace of Ivan, and the search was eventually called off. 2 years later in 2019, a hiker called police. He had found a human skeleton, which was later confirmed to be Ivan. But what makes this so scary is what was found with the skeleton. On the skeleton were many handcuffs, chains, and locks. Police believe Ivan was attempting an isolated Houdini-style escape, handcuffing and chaining himself up, and then trying to free himself without any help. But police believe his stunt went wrong. It sounds odd, but some of Ivan's friends believed this, as he would sometimes practice survival skills out in the woods. But others believe someone ended Ivan's life, and then set up this crime scene afterwards, making it seem like a stunt gone wrong. To this day, the course of Ivan's passing has not been determined, meaning exactly what happened to him remains uncertain. Suitcase. In July of 2016, a construction worker was doing routine maintenance on a road in Georgia. During his shift, the worker had to go to the bathroom, so he walked into the forest right next to the road. But that's when he noticed an object on the ground. As he got closer, he realized it was a suitcase, and out of curiosity decided to open it. What he found inside shook him to his core. Inside the suitcase was a human skull. The worker ran back to the road and told his supervisor what he'd found, who then called police. After taking a closer look, police found a full set of bones inside the suitcase, which were later found to be of a woman in her 20s or 30s. The suitcase had been there for about 6 months before being found. In 2019, police identified the woman as Jessica Mancini from Tennessee. She had been reported missing by her mother in 2014, but how she passed away and who's responsible remains unknown. Hug House. Off Highway 10 in Wisconsin, you can find this. A creepy bunker in the woods, with the words "Free Hugs" spray painted on the side. There are many disturbing stories surrounding the Hug House, including kidnappings and even worse. The bunker was first found in 2014. The bunker's original purpose remains unknown. What we do know is there are many dark theories and accounts about this bunker online. Freezer. On April 26, 2021, a hiker is walking in the woods in Anchorage, Alaska. That's when he finds something bizarre. A freezer buried halfway into the ground. The hiker opens it up, and inside finds a body. The hiker immediately calls police. The man inside the freezer was a local resident, 67-year-old Michael Teller. Police were unable to work out how or when he'd passed away, and whoever did this has not been found, making it one of the most mysterious cold cases in Alaska's history. Footsteps. Daniel O'Neill is a YouTuber from the UK. He has a channel named English Woodsman, where he posts outdoor and camping videos. His videos are mostly normal and relaxing to watch. But in August of 2023, he went camping in the woods near to his home. The video starts out normally, with Daniel talking to his viewers as he walks in the woods. He then begins to set up his camp, but around 25 minutes into the video, things begin to get scary.
I didn't want to be tired, and it's going to throw it down Friday night as well, and rain camping is really good. Is that a badger? Hello?
Human-sounding footsteps can be heard nearby, but when Daniel looks around, he can't see anyone there. The weird part is, as soon as he turned around and said hello, the footsteps suddenly stopped. As he begins to make some food, the footsteps start up again.
There's that noise again now. Hello? Hello?
At this point, Daniel is now visibly scared. 20 minutes later, the footsteps have got even louder. Despite being scared, Daniel decides not to leave. But as nightfall comes, the footsteps start up yet again.
I've just heard the noise again, but not as much. I didn't want to turn the camera on, okay? I'm going to be honest. I can't stay here now. I want to be a wimp. I don't care if people call me a wimp in the comments, but I can't stay here. I'm too unsettled. I'm nervous.
After hearing the footsteps for the third time, Daniel decides he can't stay where he is, deciding to pack up his camp and leave the area, which was a smart move. Many in the comments said the footsteps were 100% human, meaning it's possible someone was stalking Daniel. He was in the middle of nowhere, meaning he was in a very vulnerable position, with a potentially dangerous person. You might think the footsteps could have been an animal, but as people in the comments pointed out, no animal walks in such a uniform way. It's a good thing Daniel left, otherwise something seriously bad might have happened. Which of these forest discoveries was the scariest? Tell me in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and be sure to watch this video next.